Hi, this is Lana Lisa Williams, aka Survival Woman, and I am here in my car in California. I have a Chevy Impala and it said 2014, and I'm telling you, it is hard to keep this car going. I have a big car payment every month, insurance is expensive, getting my car license renewed every year is very expensive, gas is horrible, repairs. It's just, my car costs more than the place I rent to live in California. I pay $550 a month to rent a master suite in a nice lady's house in Central California. $550 a month. And my car costs more than that to run every month with all the payments involved. Yeah, more like $650 or $700, probably more like $700 a month. That's a lot of money to run a car. So if you think I'm so lucky to have such a nice car, and yeah, it's a nice strong car, but it really gets lousy gas mileage, but it would protect me in an accident because it's a strong car with reinforcement around it and side airbags and all, a big, heavy, strong car with a long nose that it's used as a police car sometimes. Yeah, but it would protect me, and I think that's the most important thing in a car. You get a car that will protect you in an accident. I found that out the hard way in 2016 when my Mazda 5 minivan, which was beautiful and only like 2 years old, when it was totaled in an accident in Texas. I realized, and I hit the side of the van with my head like that. There was no airbag. I had a subdural hematoma, which is bleeding under my scalp and near the brain, and I was in the intensive care unit at the Texas hospital, one of the best hospitals in the world, in Houston, actually, Houston Hospital, for a few days because of that. And I learned the hard way. You get a car that will protect you. Yep. So I'm sitting in the parking lot at Walmart in Wasco, California, which is not far from where I live. And it's a cute little town, and it has this big Walmart kind of in the middle of nowhere. And I thought I would just show you a little bit of the Walmart and the surrounding area. And today is June 15, 2021, and it's a special day because our Governor, Gavin Newsom, has reopened the state of California. And he said, well, you don't have to wear a mask all the time if you've been fully vaccinated. Well, I can't ever get the vaccine because it would kill me. I almost died from the 2010 H1N1 flu vaccine. I'm allergic to so many different things, including eggs. We could go on. It would kill me if I got the vaccine, so I can't. So you know what? I had COVID. I got over it. I'm good. And it's interesting, today they announced that in America there were 600,000 deaths from COVID, which is about our yearly deaths by cancer. Wow. COVID is a disease that has a less than 1% death rate, comparable to cancer. I had cancer, I survived it. It's a terrible thing. But COVID, you don't even know if you have it. You have to get tested to see if you even have it, because a lot of times there's no symptoms. And yes, it kills people. Most of those people are over 70 years old, and almost 80%, 78% of people admitted to hospitals with COVID are obesely overweight. So it targets certain types of people generally, and there are exceptions to that rule. And I'm sorry if you lost someone to COVID, or someone who's lost someone. It is a terrible thing. That's true. But is it worth putting our whole world into destruction? In downtown Bakersfield, near where I live, there are many empty office buildings that used to have cute little small or medium-sized businesses that are now gone. And people are struggling, and inflation is way up, even in Walmart. So, how does all that work out? And Governor Gavin Newsom, you keep ignoring me. I ask you to free my husband Jose from Corcoran State Prison, which is not far from Wasco, near where I live. I've been asking you for 2.5 years, and you've never once replied or acknowledged I exist, because to you I am nobody. Wow. Well, so Governor Gavin Newsom is part of the global elite, and he looks down on his constituents. We're just nobody. But you know what? He's not a king. We elected him. So please, all of you who watch this, vote, if you can, to recall Governor Newsom, because it's about time we got someone who cared about the people of California. And it doesn't matter if those people are Democrat or Republican or conservative or liberal, whatever. And most people are in between. They're not one thing or another. They're people. And human rights are not rights unless they are for everyone. Just as free speech is not free unless it's free for everyone. So let's stand up against censorship. Let's stand up against canceling people just for what they say or believe, judging people as if we're the Spanish Inquisition, which killed people for what they were believing a few hundred years ago, or as if we're the Salem witch hunters who killed a bunch of women because they thought they were witches not too long ago in America, like 300 years or so. Is that how we want to do it? Or like communist countries. Yeah, AOC and her squad, go live in a communist country for a while, a few years. See how that works out for you. I taught English in universities in Russia, Turkey, and China for five years. 5 years. And I was fully dependent on their economies. I wasn't paid well at all in Russia. It can only take 6 months. It was very cold, but I didn't mind the snow so much as the cold-heartedness of the people. But some of them were very nice, mostly the women. Anyway, so I went to Turkey, lived there the longest, 2.5 years. It was great. The food was wonderful. The people were so friendly. They paid pretty well, but they have a big problem with freedom. Erdogan of Turkey, who was just at the G7 summit and apparently elbow-greeted President Biden, he has taken away the human rights of the Turkish people. And though they have a constitution like we do, established by Ataturk 100 years ago, and they have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, and freedom to peacefully assemble and gather. But all those freedoms have been stripped away. Is that where we're headed with the whole one world order that's coming and the global reset? The thing is about cancel culture and whatever is they think they can do whatever they want, but no one else can. And they think that science is God and we must worship without question. Excuse me, is that the same science that brought us the nuclear bomb? Think about it. Science is fluid. It is often consisting of theories that are being tested and retested to come to a scientific conclusion. There are more scientific experiments that fail, by far more than those that succeed, and a good scientist will admit it takes a lot of work to figure out something that might actually become a scientific law, like gravity, or what happens when you detonate a nuclear bomb. Those are scientific laws that will come about. You drop something, it falls down because of gravity. You put out a nuclear bomb and it kills people and everything around it in horrible ways. We know this. But there are a lot of theories out there. And even Einstein, one of the greatest scientists whom I greatly respect, said that we use very little of our brains and we know even less of all the knowledge out there that we could know, and that there are things we can never understand. For we are human and we are limited by space and time and ability. Einstein sent a letter to the President of the United States during World War II saying, please do not build the bomb just because we can. We should not do it. And he had 50 other scientists sign it. And the president ignored him and went on with the bomb building project in New Mexico. And we dropped that bomb on humans in 2 cities in Japan. And we didn't have to. They were about ready to surrender. We'd won the war. We did it, and we shouldn't have. So don't just trust science. And what is science? What you say it is? It's always changing. For example, the face mask thing. Even Dr. Fauci, or however you say his name, said maybe they're not so effective, those face masks. And then he said, oh, but they are. You should wear 2. Oh, well, maybe not so much anymore. It was back and forth, right? And he said, oh, the virus never started in China. Well, I taught 2 years in China, and I saw a lot of horrible things, like a dead body in the middle of the road at night, just been hit by a car. I was taking a taxi back from a trip to Beijing. I was living in North East China near the borders of North Korea and Russia. And my taxi at 10 o'clock at night drove right next to a dead man in the road who had just been hit by a Mercedes station wagon that was on the right side of the road with a broken windshield and 15 people standing around it. And the man was half naked because it was such impact that it took off his shirt. He was lying in the road, covered with blood, half naked, his eyes open, dead. And the taxi driver barely looked at him, didn't blink, and drove right past. And not one person was standing with him. I saw other things in China like that at hospitals. You would not believe the things I saw in China. And I speak Turkish because I had been in Turkey for 2.5 years before I went to China for 2 years. And I spoke to some Uyghur people from northwest China. Yeah, because they speak a language very much like Turkish. It is a form of Turkish, and we could actually communicate. I'm really bad at Chinese, but I can speak Turkish. And they told me about those camps and the reprogramming. And the Chinese are targeting people just for their religion, like Hitler did for the Jews in World War II, like we're doing right now in America. And why don't we stand up against it more? We must, or we will lose our freedoms. And those Uyghur people, they're brainwashing them. They are trying to reset their minds and their beliefs, make them deny their faith. They are killing them when they don't agree with the Chinese Communist Party. And they are harvesting their body parts to the highest rich Chinese person who has money. Maybe they sell a few to the rest of the world, but I doubt it. So human rights and communism don't go well together. They didn't work much out in Russia. And after Russia, communism kind of fell. The whole place is a big mess with only a few people at the top taking all the money and all the rest of the people slaving without anything and not even getting paid for working and barely surviving. And in Turkey, there's a strong dictatorship now with Erdogan, and human rights have gone way, way down. And in China, you think they value life? Well, I believe that they did have the Wuhan clinic, and it was doing bio warfare, and it did create the coronavirus. And even now, people are saying, yeah, maybe that's something to that. We should investigate. President Biden, please get on it. Please stand for America. Don't kneel. Anyway, June 15, 2021, I don't have to wear a mask to go to Walmart. But they still require children from K through 12 grades to wear masks all day in school. Yet, they do not require anyone to wear a mask on a college campus or a university campus. Governor Newsom, where's the logic in making children wear masks and making teenagers who go to college not wear them? Where's the logic? And also that you still have to wear masks in your workplace. Governor Newsom, where's the logic in wearing a mask in your workplace when you don't have to wear one in Walmart or to go to church anymore? I mean, gosh, I'm amazed he didn't say we had to wear them in church, because he had outlawed church services and singing in church, which the U.S. Supreme Court overturned as unconstitutional. So please recall Governor Newsom. He doesn't think I exist. He doesn't care. I'm nobody. But none of us are nobody. We all are important. We're all human, and we matter, and our lives are valuable, and I believe that. And when we stop believing that, we support the global elite that wants to kill us all off so they can take control of a very less populated world. Yeah, and that one world government is coming and expects us to accept without question the authority of the government or the authority of so-called science, like it's a religion. Excuse me, even Christians should question what they believe, and Muslims and Buddhists and anybody else. You should question everything. You should find out for yourself what's true. You should investigate. You should find evidence. You shouldn't just take someone's word for it. So don't just accept the government as if it's a religion, or science as if it's a religion, because you will usher in the beast. Spoken about in the Bible, the book of Revelation, the Old Testament, Jesus talked about this. Pretty scary stuff. The beast that will rule the world and take down the people. Is this what we want? Think about all that. I just had to do my political speech on this day that California is reopening, sort of. And please recall Governor Newsom. I'm going to give you a short view of my car, this parking lot, and maybe just walk with you quickly into Walmart so you can see that people aren't wearing masks, most of them. Some of them still will. Yep. I guess they think it's a cool thing. Personally, I'm exempt because I have asthma and very bad allergies, and I can't breathe with a mask on, and really not being able to breathe is a problem. And so some of us actually are exempt. Yeah, right. And if we don't wear a mask, people would look at us. People have been killed for not wearing a mask, shot dead. This happened recently this week. Read the news, see. So here we go, turning the camera around. Thank you for listening to my rant, but I do know what I'm talking about. I have a master's degree in English from San Diego State University. I taught overseas for 5 years in Russia, Turkey, and China. I speak 4 languages, including Russian, Turkish, English, and Spanish. A little Hebrew, a little Chinese. I minored in history, and I read. Read for yourselves, online or wherever, not just from one source, but many. See what's happening. Question everything, always. Leaving you with that thought, I'm turning around the camera. So this is my car. That's the cute Chevy sign. Someone jacked off the Chevy symbol in the front of my car because it's worth something and you can sell it. Isn't that horrible? That happened in LA, good old LA. Okay, there's my car. It's so cute. Those are all the dots I had to wear when they were taking temperatures and making sure you had your mask and asking you all the questions. Have you been exposed to COVID? Have you had any of these 20 symptoms? At my medical clinic, I kept them on there. There's only a portion of the many I had to get just to remind myself about censorship and control. Okay, there's my stick shift. It's a dirty car, I know. There's more of my car. And out there, you can see someone with an RV is hanging out under this nice shady thing. Don't blame them. Walmart is known for, you can come camp your RV and we won't mind, which is kind of cool. And over here there's another big RV over there. All right, so I'm gonna unplug the power. Oh my gosh, I have to roll up the windows. I am just so not prepared. I'm rolling out my window because I don't want anyone to steal my car. All right, I'm gonna open the door. Gonna press the lock button. That's how I lock my car. Put my keys on my hand. Grab my notebook. Grab my purse. And I guess that's it. Sorry, it's taking a while getting out. Yeah. I'm just showing you a quick view of Wasco at Walmart in California. All right, got everything. So this is Wasco. In the distance, it's a bunch of fields. I'm under this big shady thing at Walmart because we're in the very hot area. You can see Walmart. Oh, they've got the American flag. Good for them. There's Walmart. There's the parking lot. There's my cute car. There's a cute Nissan. There's the big RV parked there. And the RV has a car for when they want to drive around. They don't want to drive the big RV, which is a cool idea. And this is Wasco, Central California. All right, you saw that. Now we're gonna walk toward Walmart. Don't need a shopping cart, don't have any money. Really, seriously, I don't. People think, oh, I'm American, I'm rich. Hey, you try coming living in California where you have to pay at least $700 a month just to keep a car going, and $550 a month just for a little place to live. Not even a whole house, just a room. You try it, see how that works out for you. Because it's not easy. Oh, there's 2 people. One has a mask and one doesn't. Okay. People get freaked out when I do this. Sometimes they're like, lady, put away the camera. I'm like, well, it's outdoors, technically. I have the right to film outdoors. There's a person wearing a mask, sort of, although it's on her chin. There's a lady without a mask. Technically, I have the right, and so do all journalists, to film outdoors. Another person, 2 people, one with a mask and one with half a mask. Because outdoors, outside, you do not have the reasonable expectation of privacy that you would have in your home or in, say, a doctor's office. Those places we shouldn't film, you know, especially not a doctor's office. I mean, people are there, they're sick, they don't want to have their photo taken. You know, don't do that. It's not nice. Oh, they have masks on. Wow. Have these people not heard that this is the reopening of California Day? Wow, they have masks on? Everyone's got masks on. What happened? Did I slip into the Twilight Zone? Oh, that's weird. Okay. Oh, there's people in the distance. One of the women there doesn't have a mask, and her 2 kids do. There's a guy with this mask on his chin, which does absolutely nothing, because it has to cover your mouth and your nose, or it doesn't work. I think it's funny how people just put it on their chin. It's like, it is useless. There's a little girl running. What the hell is that woman doing? Okay, little girl in the car. I am just going into Walmart. And here we have our big ol' do not hit the people crosswalks, because believe it or not, this part of California has a terrible rate of pedestrian deaths and car accidents. Could not believe it. Every day you read about someone getting killed for walking across the street in Central California, especially Bakersfield. So here we go. Guy at Walmart's wearing a mask because it's still required in your workplace. Lady over there's got the mask. Wow, they do. I mean, have these people not heard this is June 15, reopening of California Day? Well, that lady, she took it off, put it back on. There's a Walmart worker with one, another one with one because they have to. Well, there's a lady without one. Kindred spirit. Rebel. Yep, I've been labeled a rebel, and I am proud to be one, because I must stand against unjust laws. I must stand against tyranny, because it is good medical practice often to quarantine a sick person, but to quarantine healthy people is tyranny. Look up that word. What does that word mean? Kind of like dictatorship. It is absolute control. It is unconstitutional. It is a violation of human rights. So label me a rebel, and I will be happy to be one. Jesus was a rebel. He stood up against the religious leaders and so forth of his time. And you know what they did to him. But then he surprised them and rose again. So I believe, yep, that gives hope. There's a guy without a mask and a little woman with one. There's 2 guys out there without a mask, yay. All right, so this is Walmart in Wasco, California. A lady down there without a mask. And this is Lisa Williams, aka Survival Woman, thanking you for joining me and signing off. June 15, 2021, the reopening day. Turn them around. The reopening day in California, where we're not supposed to have to wear a mask when we go to Walmart or anywhere except to work, or if we're in K through 12 to school. Lisa Williams say thank you for listening. Have a good day, and please do not stand for tyranny. Goodbye.